When you're looking at your home screen after you've created an invoice, you'll notice the next thing on the flowchart is Receive Payments. The first thing QuickBooks wants to know is who did you receive the payment from, meaning which customer and job. As soon as you've chosen that option, you'll see now all of the open invoices for that customer and job appear at the bottom here. You can see all the information about each one of the invoices. I wanted to point out the amount due column here. If the customer has already made a payment towards one of these invoices, you would see the balance due in this column. Also right at the top is the total customer balance. The next thing you want to do is go ahead and fill in the payment amount, and then make sure you have the correct date that you're actually applying the payment. This last field that says reference number, if you notice, I have Zelle chosen as my preferred payment method. If the customer paid me with cash, I would choose the cash option. If they paid with check, you'll notice this field now says check number. If you choose debit or credit, you can fill in the customer's credit or debit card information. If you've signed up with Intuit to receive credit cards, then you can actually run their card through by using this screen here. But if you haven't, just say cancel, and it will stay green indicating they did pay you with a debit or credit card. There's the e-check option. I've got Zelle chosen right up here, but if I click the down arrow, you'll see that I've got other options as well, or I can add a new payment method. I'm going to add PayPal, and you can choose the payment type from this list. I'll click OK, and from now on you'll see PayPal will show up in the list. That way if you want to choose it, you can just click on it. What you'll notice at the bottom is as soon as you filled in the payment amount, QuickBooks checked off all of these invoices. It assumed that the customer is paying everything from the top down. Be really careful with this because sometimes customers are not paying specific invoices. They may also be paying a partial payment. You can check or uncheck any of these, and you can also type over here in this last column the amount that they're actually paying towards that invoice. You'll notice in my case, my customer only paid me $3,330 when they actually owed me the 63 cents as well over here. If you have an over or underpayment, it's going to tell you right down here at the very bottom. In this case, I have an underpayment of 63 cents, and the choices are to leave this as an underpayment or write off the extra amount. We're going to leave it as an underpayment for now. I want you to also notice that at the very bottom, it tells me the amount that's due, the amount that was applied, and if there were any discounts or credits applied, you could see that here as well. Let's head up to the top and look at some of our options under our tabs. And a lot of these you'll already be familiar with. We'll just run through them very quickly. Starting with the main tab, if you're looking through your customer payments and you just can't find one you're looking for, you can use the arrows to go backwards or forwards in the customer payments. You could also hit the find button here and put in any of this criteria that you would like to search for your customer payment. The next thing you'll see is an option to create a new blank customer payment. That's going to create a new one. It's the same thing as Save and New at the bottom right. You can also delete your customer payment from this option. The next option is to print. You can see that you can print your customer payment there. You can also email a copy of this payment receipt if you'd like. Here you can attach a file. If there's any kind of file that's already saved in your computer, you can go ahead and attach that file here so that you can look it up a little bit more easily when you need it. The next thing you're going to see is look up customer/invoice. The easier way to do this would be to actually double click on the invoice you'd like to look at, and that'll take you right to it. Next, you're going to see unapplied payment. That's just going to uncheck all of these, and you can go back and check them the way you would like to. And then there's discounts or credits. If you had any discounts or credits set up towards an invoice, you could apply them in this window. We don't have any right now, but we will do one a little bit later. There's an option to record a bounce check. You could click right there and then put in the criteria for that. This right here is where if you wanted to pay QuickBooks for credit card processing, you could go ahead and sign up for that. Let's look at the Formatting tab. You have a few options here for the layout of this customer payment window. You can go in and edit a few things, or if you want to change the way it looks when you email or print this receipt for the customer, you can go ahead and do that as well. There are some reports related to customer payments. First, you can run a quick report, which is just going to show the transactions for this customer payment. You could also see a transaction history. What this report will show you is if you had any estimates, and then from those estimates you created an invoice and then received a payment, that creates a list of transactions you can go look at that are related to this payment. I can't look at these right now because I haven't yet saved it. Once you save it, you could go back and look at that transaction history report. You can also look at what they call a transaction journal, and this is just what it looks like behind the scenes when QuickBooks actually receives this payment. You can also see a processed payment receipt. If you want to see what this is going to look like when you print it and send it to your customer, you can do that here. You can also view any open invoices. Invoices for this customer that are not paid are considered open, and you can run a report. If you want to see all the invoices, paid or unpaid, you can run a customer balance detail, and that way you can see credit memos, invoices, payments, anything related to this customer. You can also look at a sales by item detail or an item price list. The last tab says Payments. This is where you can go ahead and sign up with Intuit to add credit card processing. More than likely, you're going to use the main tab for most of your options under the customer payment window. Now that we've received this payment, I'm going to save and close at the bottom, and then we're going to see how this payment shows up over in our customer center. I've still got it open on the left here. I'm going to make sure I have my customer and job chosen, and now you can see everything that's happened, including that payment that we just received. If you wanted to double click, you can open this up, and if you wanted to make changes to this, you could. If not, you can just go ahead and save and close to get out of it. And that's how you're going to receive a customer payment. Remember that now that you've received that payment, that invoice is no longer part of your open invoices. It's no longer part of accounts receivable. Let's go ahead and move over into the next video, and we're going to talk a little bit about how to create payment links in QuickBooks.